It is correct. I'm one of the founding a commissioner, one of the founding owners of the league as well.
Okay, so how did that come about with you becoming the commissioner and owner?
Well, it's a long story, but I've been involved for lacrosse, pole lacrosse, for over 30 years. I was actually one of the founding members of the NLL that exists today,
Oh,
and
wow.
was yeah started the Buffalo Bandits years ago in the old MILL. Started the Rochester Nighthawks and owned them for 14 years. And so I've been in lacrosse for a long time. And as the NLL was growing and the player pool was evolving, today I think the player pool in the NLL is like 96% Canadian. In the last 10 years, Josh, the growth of U.S. lacrosse has exploded and it continues to grow. Probably the fastest growing sport in the country right now. And organically, U.S. kids are playing, field, and they're finding ways to play box. And so, for many years, the last 5 years or so, myself and John Livesey and a couple others, have felt there's been a growing need for another league to, open up opportunities for the American players, American coaches, to play more box lacrosse and play professionally across the country. So this is a culmination of years of thinking, and the whole vision is to grow box lacrosse in the United States.
I like that vision. I like it, especially because for me growing up as a kid here in the U.S., I never really heard or saw too much of lacrosse or even just opportunity to actually be there in person, participate. But I've always had a fascination with it because I'm still relatively new to fully understanding the sport. But I like that your attention is really focusing on bringing it more to the U.S., making more of a dominant growing sport too.
Thank you.
Oh, say again, you froze for a second.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just said, oh, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome, sir. You're welcome. And then to go ahead and give a breakdown for the average viewer who still doesn't really know too much about the sport, kind of give me a rundown of how the sport works and everything about it.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that's exciting to explain to new fans is you don't have to know anything about box lacrosse or indoor lacrosse to enjoy the game. It's a combination of one of the most exciting sporting events you'll ever see. It's a bit of a rock concert with a lot of music. It's very interactive with pregame parties, postgame parties. Our players have a ton of impressions on Facebook. Our league is very active, social media through Instagram and Facebook. And so it's a league for today, a lot of interaction, but the game itself is a 2 hour and 20-minute just dose of nonstop action, a lot of scoring, big hits, a lot of athletic plays, and most importantly, just a lot of fun. You don't have to know the rules to enjoy it.
Wow. And it goes for 2.5 hours, you said?
2.5 hours. It's when the game is over, it's almost like an encore of a rock concert where the fans are saying, "Please don't stop." This is so much fun. We don't want it to stop, and it just drives them back to the next game.
Wow, that's pretty incredible. So you got like an encore where they're just demanding more action for it.
Yeah, and what's nice is the tradition of the game is our fans get to celebrate post game with our players, and sometimes even the visitors show up at the post game party. So, it's an interaction culture of lacrosse, and it's just wonderful. It's just a lot of fun for the family. It's fun for young people alike.
Nice, nice. And so if I wanted to, I see there's like an exhibition match going on and I jump into it. I know you have those, I don't know what those staffs are called that you have the ball, but ultimately your goal is just to get to the other side, make it into the net. And is there any extra stuff that goes on in tie with that?
Sure. Well, I'll give you a little rundown. So, all the rules are based on the teams running north and south up and down the floor. So, there's no offsides. So, if a goalie makes a big save, he literally can throw the ball the length of the field to an ongoing attacker for a breakaway. In hockey, you have offsides and icing and things. You can play the entire field in box lacrosse. You can't escape. There's a 10-second rule that if once the team has the ball, it has to get across center field line, the midfield line. If you can't, you give up the ball. And so it encourages the offense to move forward. There's a 30-second shot clock. So once you have the ball, you have 30 seconds to get the shot off on goal and get it registered on the goalie. And if you don't, you give up the ball. If you get a shot on, you get the rebound, you get another 30 seconds to take another shot. So it's a game that's meant to be played north and south and played fast and hard.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, interesting. Yeah, because when I was a kid, I played soccer, and it was just a constant demand where you had to be moving and moving. And whenever I've seen any action with lacrosse, I've always had that vibe. It's nonstop pace that goes back and forth. So you like really have to focus on your cardio and conditioning.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the guys in our league have got a little wake up call because the NLL and some of the other box leagues have sort of a platoon system where they switch offense on and then defense on, depending if you have the ball. Our guys have to run both ends of the floor, almost like hockey players. So, man, if you play in the PBLA, you have to be in great condition to play both ends of the floor.